You owe these dues immediately, or we will place a lien on your property.
Yeah, we filed for an injunction. You'll need to speak with my attorney.
The orange tow sticker was already stuck to my windshield when I stepped onto the cold driveway, coffee still burning my tongue and the smell of wet asphalt rising up from last night's rain. A bright yellow boot clamped my front tire. It was 6:12 a.m. on May 3, 2024, and there was a woman in a neon HOA vest standing there with a clipboard like she was proud of it. She tapped her pen at me and said in this sweet, mean voice that my car was immobilized for unpaid association dues and if I wanted it back, I owed a fine before 9:00 p.m. or it would be towed at my expense. My hand shook so hard the coffee sloshed over my fingers. I stared at the paper taped to my window. It said I was behind 8 months, plus late fees, plus a boot charge, for a total of $2,500. I had just bought the house 3 months earlier and my dues were paid through closing. The notice had my name spelled wrong and even the wrong lot number. I said this must be a mistake, I have the receipts, and the woman just smirked. That is when it hit me what this fight was going to be. HOA fined me on the mansion driveway over unpaid dues, that I filed the injunction. Our neighborhood called it the mansion driveway because the old owner turned the garage into this giant archway. Now it was my house, my driveway, my tire in a boot, and my morning already ruined. I tried to fix it the normal way first. I walked to the HOA office by the pool, still smelling like chlorine from the cleaning crew. Inside, the president, the neighborhood Karen with the perfect bob cut and icy perfume, sat behind a little fake plant wall. I explained everything. Closing documents. Bank statements. The date I moved in, February 10, 2024. She did not even look down at the papers in my hand. She just said, fees are due on the 1st, and the system shows you unpaid. Neighbors drifted past the window. One guy glanced in, saw her, and snapped his head away like looking at the sun. I asked for an appeal with the board. She told me the board had already voted to fine me by email. No hearing. No discussion. She added another late notice right there, like she was tapping a button in a game. The next week was a circus. I got 3 more letters, for fake violation notices about my trash can and my porch light, and 1 email that said I'd been reported for aggressive behavior for raising my voice. My driveway became the new gossip spot. I heard people whisper, that's the new guy who doesn't pay dues. When I tried to stop a neighbor and explain, she froze, looked at the HOA camera on the streetlight, and whispered, I'm sorry, I can't get involved. That was my line in the sand. I decided I was not going to yell. I was not going to slash tires or do anything wild. I was going to beat Karen and the board using their own rules and every proper channel I could find. That night I cleared my dining table and turned it into a war room. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed my closing statement showing HOA dues paid through July. I pulled every email the HOA sent since I moved in. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. That was when they called security on me for walking my own dog past the pool. I highlighted every time they used the wrong lot number. I talked to my cousin, who was a paralegal, and she said the magic words, injunctive relief. She explained that if I could show ongoing harm and bad faith, a judge could tell the HOA to stop charging me and touching my property until they cleaned up their mess. I promised myself I would stay calm, stay lawful, and let the paper trail do the talking. Step 2 was public records. I went down to the county office, the one that always smells like old paper and burned coffee. I asked for the HOA's corporate filings, their bylaws, their amendments. The clerk rolled her chair back, typed for a while, then dropped a fat stack on the counter. The file landed with 63 pages. Buried inside, we found a bomb. The board had never recorded the new dues schedule they were using to bill me. On paper, the old, much lower rate was still the only legal one. They were also supposed to send written notice by certified mail before placing any lien or immobilizing property. My boot notice had been slapped on my car with no warning at all. The law was simple, an HOA can enforce written, recorded rules, but not secret ones. I also learned another rule from the officer I spoke with later: patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. So every fake complaint Karen had filed about me was not just annoying. It was evidence. Armed with that, I filed for a temporary injunction at the courthouse on May 10, 2024. My cousin helped me fill in the forms. We attached my binder index, every notice, every date, every picture of the boot. When the hearing date came, the HOA board actually showed up, all four of them, in matching polo shirts. Karen walked in like she owned the place. She told the judge I was a delinquent owner, that everyone else paid just fine, that this was standard enforcement. Then it was my turn. I pushed my binder across. I showed the closing statement. I showed the wrong lot numbers. I pointed to the page in the county file where the new dues schedule was never recorded. The judge read, frowned, and asked why they were enforcing rules they had never filed. Karen's voice cracked for the first time. She tried to blame the old management company. The judge did not smile. The twist came a week later during the next HOA open meeting in the cul-de-sac. Karen stood by the folding table with her clipboard, reading off new fines for people whose grass was too tall. You could smell grilled burgers and fresh-cut lawns. Kids rode bikes in circles. Then a sheriff's cruiser rolled up, lights flashing blue against the white garages. Everybody stopped. Neighbors pulled out their phones. The deputy stepped out, walked right past me, and up to Karen. He handed her a thick envelope in front of the whole crowd. "Ma'am, this is the court order," he said. The injunction barred them from touching my car, from adding any more fines to my account, and from booting or towing anyone else without proper notice. It also mentioned the pattern of false reports, including that 4:27 a.m. trespass call, and warned that further fake complaints could be treated as harassment. The neighbors started whispering. Someone laughed. Someone said, "Wait, so he was right this whole time?" The video hit our neighborhood Facebook group that night, then a local subreddit. People replayed the moment the papers hit Karen's hand, slow motion, zoomed in. Comments poured in. So the HOA was breaking their own rules? Figures. One neighbor came over the next day with cookies and an apology for believing the rumors. Another finally took down the blackout curtain he used to hide from Karen's patrols. The board called an emergency election. Karen lost her seat and her little gatekeeper power. The HOA had to reverse all my charges, pay my towing threat fees, and rewrite their notices to match the real, recorded bylaws. I got my quiet mornings back. Now my mansion driveway just smells like coffee and wet grass again, not fear. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.